Hello everyone and welcome back to the NASCAR Heat 5 Clint Bowyer season mode. We are moving on to race number 19, the Pocono 350. And just to update you on the point standings, we currently have a 223-point gap above Kyle Busch, who currently resides second in points. Then behind him is Truex, Harvick, Newman, and Kurt Busch. All three Penske drivers are in the playoffs with wins. Matt Kenseth is outside of the playoffs by 36 points. Jimmy Johnson's on the outside looking in by 89 points. Chase Elliott's so far back he needs a win to make it in. So anyway, least favorite track, 2 races in a row. Let's get on to Pocono for the Pocono 350. And remember, because this race is a little bit longer, we're now going to have to pit at least once in stage 2, which instead of being 10 laps is 13. The game has now suddenly started to not respond. Now it is responding again. That's what I really dislike about this game. It might have something to do with the fact I run it in windowed mode, but still, it seems to not respond pretty consistently during the load screens. I just want to see what happens when I put like 60% tape on in a custom setup and go qualify. I'm very curious how the car will handle. You know, NASCAR started to kind of go back on their decision to run high downforce everywhere. You know, obviously, 2020, they stopped running it at short tracks. 2021, they're not going to run it at Darlington. Pocono is a track that really shouldn't have it. Obviously, they kind of got rid of the whole problem in Indianapolis with not being able to pass. But Pocono, they're still on the schedule. They get 2 races. That's, you know, 1 more than Indianapolis ever had. I mean, I know that I say I hate this track, but listen, if it has 2 races, you got to do something to make people like it. You know, let me rephrase my hatred. It's not exactly in the track itself, but it's in the management of how they run the track. They do nothing to make it better, is what I'm saying. Okay, totally screwed up turn 1. Hoping to make up some of that time elsewhere, I guess. Running 60% tape for this lap. Hoping to start the race on 50. Well, the car's committed to running the apron when you run 60%. And in just a lap and a half, including, you know, the lap and the out lap, the right rear is down to 91. I was slower than the last qualifying session, down to 15th. Wow. I think it's because I, you know, botched turn 1, but still. Ryan Blaney's on pole. I mean, Penske's starting to get pretty darn good. Matt Kenseth qualifies 11th. Let's hope he doesn't fall straight to the back like he did in the last race. Dead last was Josh Bilicki. And I'm going to switch my setup back to recommended 1 above what I did in the last race. Here are your top stories entering Pocono. Josh Bilicki isn't nearly as fast as expected. Really? Really. Ryan Blaney posted some fastest laps, and then right below it, he won the pole. Kind of funny to see Blaney and Kyle Busch right next to each other at Pocono. Last time, it didn't look too pretty. Here we go. And the goal is the exact same as the last race. Score stage points. You know, hope to bring home a good finish. Probably won't, but the real goal is to not DNF like what happened at Texas, because that's called trying too hard. Don't try to take a car that can finish 14th and finish, you know, 5th with it. That's the real reason I wrecked, even knowing that Brad Keselowski, you know, punted me out of turn 4. The real reason I wrecked was I was trying too hard.
All right, you're clear.
Up to 11th spot already. Gonna back up turn number 2. And I'm gonna have to stop calling this turn 3. Because in my mind, the penultimate corner in oval should be turn 3, but you know, I gotta stop screwing that up for Pocono. And you know, I sound like I'm new. I've been watching stock car racing my entire life. But I don't know, I'm just screwing it up.
Time to go, driver.
The sun looks to be in a slightly different position than the last race. Is it supposed to be later in the evening?
Careful, still there.
What's happening? Is this car kind of, like, quick?
Careful, still there.
Because I'm running into 4th place right now.
Still there.
I gotta stop Kyle Busch, though. And it might not be in this race when I can do it, but I'm hoping to make it happen at
Careful, still there.
maybe Indianapolis or Kentucky if I can figure out how to drive those places.
Careful, still there.
Alright, I can say that I was in 3rd for a brief moment. Because I probably won't hold this spot,
Still there.
but I can still say that I was as high as 3rd place. Because look at the gap 1st and 2nd's put on all of us. You know, 1.5 seconds up to 2nd spot.
Are they on your outside?
Not a whole lot of parity, I guess you could say, from 1st and 2nd down to 3rd, because we're all kind of running in a gaggle behind Kyle Busch and Blaney, who are running within just 2 car lengths of each other. I will say this, though. Turn 3 at Pocono makes me subconsciously dislike Milwaukee, even knowing that track is fantastic.
Got a car low now.
Okay,
Stage point.
that somehow got me stage points. Wow. Okay, I don't think I'm dead yet. Let's just hope. I mean, this could be another classic F-Zero, you know, you get out and you DNF. But then I could just jump to Indianapolis, which is the same racetrack.
Almost ready.
Okay, I'm not done yet. I did not shut off DNFs either, so the rules are different. Anyway,
Still there.
in stage 2, we're going to have to make at least 1 pit stop, so if I start a caution,
You got room.
I'm pitting.
You're clear.
And, you know, now I know better
Clear
than to
high,
run
clear
flat onto the apron into turn 1. I should have known better before that because of all the stupid crap I've done this season so far.
high. Car on the outside now.
But, you know, if you can't learn, you got to feel. And that's what I did right there. I felt. So now I know not to do exactly what I did there.
Careful, still there.
But the real problem is, in this game, when you touch the brakes, the car wants to jerk left. And that's the real reason why I went
Still there.
below the yellow line and spun out.
Stay
It's
low.
because I tried to, you know, get onto the brakes to slow the car down. But what it did was it jerked the car more left. It's weird when you have to get onto the brakes and turn right to slow the car down to turn left.
Still there. Clear high. Clear
You know,
high.
it's not a natural instinct to do. Either way, I got stage points out of it, so I'm not that disappointed. Even though Kyle Busch ended up winning the stage, which is not so good. I'll get him somewhere else. Just Pocono's not my place.
Still there.
I mean, if any track deserved to lose a race,
Car high now.
I'd say it'd have to be Pocono. You know, I'd much rather, as I said, you know, a couple parts ago, actually,
Still there.
much rather have them race at Chicago than Pocono. But more importantly, I'd much rather have a second race at Michigan than a second race at Pocono. I don't understand the amount of money that NASCAR is willing to throw at this racetrack.
You're all clear up top.
Here we go, up to Almirola and McDowell at the same time.
Stay on the bottom here. Clear high, bud. Inside.
Really sliding it out into turn 1.
Bottom's clear.
Hey, I managed to pass McDowell, though, which is really surprising, actually. Side draft Eric.
Careful, still there. Careful.
You really got to back up turn number 2. Otherwise, you'll just pretty much tank slap the
Still
wall.
there. All clear.
What I do have to ask to anyone who's willing to comment on this video, what do you like more for stock car racing, the Indianapolis Oval or Pocono? Because I'm genuinely curious, because I pretty much hold them in the same regard. If I really don't like either. But I always thought Indianapolis put on better shows than Pocono ever did. And Indianapolis is now a road course, for the stock car side. So I don't understand the interest in having stock car races at Pocono on the so-called oval, more tri-oval than anything. But still, if nobody wants to see him race in Indianapolis, the true Indianapolis Motor Speedway, why does everybody want him to run at Pocono? I don't know if it just has to do with location. Like if, that Pennsylvania market's really important.
Good to go.
But there has to be another good racetrack in the state of Pennsylvania. I've never been, really far into Pennsylvania. I think I've only been to Pittsburgh, but that was when I was younger. I'm pretty sure it was only for a hospital visit. But there's got to be a better racetrack in that whole state than Pocono. But I want someone to find it for me. Or at least tell me. They don't need to go out and searching in the woods in Pennsylvania to find it. Probably just a Google search that I'm too lazy to do. But I definitely need to know if there's any kind of substitute. Obviously, the substitute I proposed was South Boston because it's owned by the same people who own Pocono. So from a business standpoint, it'd be a decision that could happen. Much like, replacing Dover with a race at Nashville. It's a business decision based on Dover owning Nashville. But when it comes to a decision based on location, I need to know where people want NASCAR to go instead of Pocono in the state of Pennsylvania. And there's no way that state doesn't have a single, good short track in it or something. Screw it. Since NASCAR's willing to go on to dirt in every division now, for some reason except Xfinity, good dirt track there. I mean, that could be a rather interesting option, couldn't it? Right rear's gotten down to 34%, now 33%, and the car has started to handle way better than it did earlier, which doesn't really make much sense. Can't believe we're still green, to be honest with you. Starting to slide out of turn 1, but it's been doing that the whole of the first race and now the whole of this race. Again, I'm afraid of an untimely caution, which is why I will not pit to try and short pit anyone, because, if I try and do that, a yellow will fall or something to screw me over. But you can, in fact, pit here and not fall one lap down. But I'm trying to score stage points. It's not like I need any more wins than 8 in a season, you know what I mean? Until the playoffs start, I'm super locked in. So I think I'm going to pit this lap, though. I mean, when you got to turn it right entering turn 1 at Pocono, it's getting a little worn. Yeah, now it's getting really loose.
That car ahead of you is pitting.
Yeah, this is when we all get to pit.
You're wearing out the rubber.
While Kyle Busch stays out. Going one up on the tape to get to the end of this stage, because we can pit and not fall one lap down. Because, the length of the end of stage 2 is not going to give this car enough time to really overheat at 55%. So since I have to make one pit stop in stage 2 and one pit stop in the final stage, I'm going to make that last stop, add some extra tape on to get to the end. Hopefully score a point or two more than I would have otherwise.
Clear the pit. Hammer down.
Hey, I got out in front of Kenseth and Elliott. Oh, they're going to, super wrap the bottom here, aren't they? Not to the degree I was expecting, but still pretty bad. So I did not fall one lap down. That's the good news. We're going to hopefully pass quite a few cars here as we start to cycle out. I don't know, not as many cars as I wanted to pass. Considering that I'm trying to score stage points in every stage, that's not going to be enough. We got Almirola pitting, who is the current leader. I don't know about anybody watching this, but does a lap at Pocono to you feel like it takes 3 years? It's always felt that way to me for some reason. Alright, I'm in the 12th spot, but still, that's not points paying, so... Unless I can get up to Ryan Newman and Joey Logano, this stage really won't mean squat to me. It's going to be one of the few stages where I won't score any points. Just slide it into turn 1. I'm losing like 10% of the right rear tire every single lap. So, you know, I don't know exactly, but is Pocono really this much of a cheese grater? And I know the surface is getting old, but like, really? This bad? Worse than Atlanta? I know it doesn't look that bad. The tunnel turn might be deceiving. Because, you know, the bumps there, I'm pretty sure, just because of a tunnel. Hey, for all I know, in NASCAR Heat 5, it depends on the color of the asphalt, how bad it wears. Because the asphalt at Pocono just so happens to be a little bit lighter than most other tracks. It has to wear your tires more. Well, you know, iRacing is getting people to actually scan the way a track feels to get it perfect to reality. You know, 704 is going off of color coding system. All right, 1 lap to go on the stage, thank God.
Last lap, hit your mark.
Gonna try and stay in 12th spot, even knowing that doesn't score me squat. We've had, like, what, 14 laps on the green thereabouts? And look at how spread out the field is. And it's Pocono, I'll tell you that. All right, so we've had 55% grill tape on the front end of this car the whole run. And it has not overheated once. It's getting pretty loose, but that's because of the wedge adjustment. I'm actually going to go back on that. But there you go. 12th spot. 0 points. But who won the stage? Kyle? Yeah. BJ. 5th. Yeah, that's good. That's good news. I don't know what to do about the tape. I'm going to leave the tape the same. I keep wanting to go up and up with the tape amount.
All right, you're coming to the green. You ready? Inside.
You know, since turn 2 at Pocono is modeled after Indianapolis, my hopes are a little bit higher for Indy, considering the tunnel turn's the only turn I seem to be able to get through pretty good.
Clear down low.
Just kind of bully my way up into the top 10.
Clear high, bud.
More or less, you take everything you can get in the first few laps. Then you just try and play Ryan Newman level defense.
Careful, still there. Still there.
Look at that. I mean, there's no way that could have worked in reality, but it's so funny when you see it. You know, the AIs can make the grass line work. In fact, you can see it in the grass where they've been running. But if I try and run there, I'll pretty much spin out. So that's an even worse representation of the ability to wrap the bottom that these AIs have. If they can run through the grass
All clear.
and you can't, and they can save the car and you can't, you know, this is why no one really likes the NASCAR Heat games, at least single player. I've never actually played one of these games online yet. Just never bothered. I'm interested
Careful, still there.
in whether or not it would quite suck as bad. That got no caution. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. I just pancaked Bowman into the wall. The second time I've screwed him over at Pocono. No yellow, though. We didn't get a yellow for the first wreck, but that's because he pulled a Tokyo drift through the tunnel turn, but that one didn't look so pretty. But still no yellow. There's no way NASCAR is going to give Alex Bowman a caution. Is that Bowman again? He just pulled a 3-wide move through the tunnel turn. Oh my god, the legacy continues.
Inside.
He is the most talented driver in NASCAR. I must stop him. Nothing can stop him.
Still there.
My god. Can nothing put an end to his speed?
Still there. All right, you're clear.
Wow, that was actually a really good turn, too. That's a rarity
Clear high, bud.
for me to get a good turn ever. Had to kind of park the bus a little on Brad. Sliding it. There's Truex. There's Bowman. I'm never going to be able to stop Bowman, am I? Yep, there's Bowman.
Farther on the inside.
Okay.
Car outside. Hold your line. Bottom's free. Use it.
I had to see how much it took to spin that car, and way more than it ever should have. Yeah, 60% tape. What's the worst that could happen? Me lose 20 spots? Yeah. Yeah, me lose 19 spots on pit road. I love my pit crew.
To the green, driver.
We try to put, like, one more piece of tape on the car.
Green flag,
We lose
green
20
flag.
spots. We're freaking amazing.
5 more laps.
5 laps to go. I'm in 25th spot.
Careful, still there.
It's fantastic, actually.
Careful, still there. Car there on your outside.
I swear to God that NASCAR is paying my pit crew to screw up so that they can get these interesting restarts at the end.
Still there.
When I pretty much say screw the world and drive
Stay on the bottom.
with a death wish. With a death wish, I should say, not a death witch, because that doesn't make any
Stay on the
sense.
bottom. Car on the outside now.
But this is what NASCAR wants to see.
Clear high, clear high.
I mean, would you really put it beyond them
Clear high, clear
for
high.
this to be exactly what they want? I sense a conspiracy. There's meddling in this election.
All clear.
255, 256. That's a hot temperature to be running.
Car there on the inside.
Man, I should really lift.
Stay in line. Hold your line. You're all clear up top. All clear.
Okay, that had no business in working, but it worked. Wow. Okay, that's a hold your breath
Still
moment.
there. You're all clear up top.
Wait a minute. Is that BJ McLeod running in second? I hope he can beat Kyle Busch. Come on.
Stay low.
If I can get into that mess, I want him to win.
All right, you're clear.
Yeah, the temps are a little high. But as the tires wear, I'll be lifting more. The temps will be able to go down, so don't worry about my engine. And, you know, it's kind of worth it when the car is starting to actually, like, handle good.
Still there. Car there on your outside.
Maybe it's just because I'm a little bit more willing to use people up, but still.
Stay on the bottom. 2 laps to go. Careful, still
Just sliding right up into 5th. I don't think BJ is going to be able to get the win, but my God, it'd be funny if he could. Let's just, everybody start praying for Kyle Busch to blow a tire.
Still there. Clear all around.
Yeah, I just drove straight through Byron, didn't I? Okay, it's going to be a nerve-wracking last lap
White flag. Bring it home.
with BJ trying to run down that 18. Byron, I shall keep this 4th place, and you will like it. Look at that bottom wrapping.
Hold your line. Got one
Seriously, we were running straight down to the grass. One position better.
Fantastic job today.
4th? Is that good? I mean, considering the guy's 2nd in points, won and scored a bunch of stage points, I don't consider it good. All right, so 4th place, we actually improved our speed rating to 105. BJ, unfortunately, couldn't pull off the win. Kyle Busch does it. He gained quite a few points on me, I'd assume. But BJ McLeod with a career-best 2nd place finish. Let's try to get him a win this season. Justin Haley finishes dead last. All right, so Kyle Busch gained a little, 889 to 690. Kyle Busch finally has a win that moves the counter up to 11 winners. Bubba Wallace still resides 27th, but he's falling pretty close to David Reagan in 28th. The battle for 30th continues. So Kyle Busch set the fastest lap. I'm assuming he pretty much led every lap. So yeah, 33 laps led at 35. How's that? Jeez. On move, Eric Jones started 28th, finished 3rd. That's not bad. Tough break to Brad. Started 3rd, finished 28th. That's the inverse. All right, so my point gap above Kyle Busch is down to 199 points. He's starting to make a pretty good charge towards the front. I'm hoping to kind of stop that in Indianapolis, but I don't know how good I'll do there. It's another, Pocono track where, it's very iffy. Just kind of hoping to score points and get a top 10. But behind Kyle Busch is Truex, Harvick, who still hasn't won a race, then Newman, and Kurt Busch. We're up to 11 different winners. Matt Kenseth is still on the outside looking in, as well as Reddick, Johnson, Stenhouse, and Chase Elliott. Elliott is now 120 points back, which is still closer than he was earlier, because before he had to win to make it in. Couldn't even mathematically do it until now. So anyway, the next race is going to be Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I expect more of the same, similar Pocono-style racing, and I will see you there.